waiting for my PO to call, you know. But besides that, you know, we here to cook, baby. We here to cook. You know, we here to talk heavy. Uh, if it end up like, you know, something end up happening, my apologies. You know, it's my PO calling. You hear me? But yeah, we here to talk about it. You know, Tank Davis being synced again. You know, him, Coach Calvin, back in the gym, getting that money. They back getting that money. Uh, and another thing. Yeah, let me go up here and grab my wraps and stuff. Yeah, excuse. I gotta grab these wraps. You know, but we back though. You know, we're gonna see. You know, we're gonna talk about it. You know, I like to give it to the 8 minutes so we can start cooking. Man, fuck all that, man. These niggas already, know what I mean, still got me tight on certain situations. So I'm gonna cook these niggas now. It's time to cook motherfucking now. Know what I mean? It's time to cook now. It's time to cook now. Link in the chat. I'm about to put the link in the chat. I'm about to put the link in the chat. Hey yo, toe to toe boxing, what up? You said Tank not going to get in the ring with World Killers? I believe he is. I believe he is. I believe he is. And this is what I've been saying, right? This is what I've been saying, right? I've been saying, you know, we need Tank, like we need the judge, right, to make it a court stipulation that Tank got to get back in the ring. Real rap. Need a court stipulation. Tank got to get back in the ring. You know, that'd be fair. Let me put this link in the chat. Let me get this joint, y'all. My apologies. My apologies, y'all. No, I know I should have did this, but you know, like I said, I was waiting on my PO to call. I was waiting for my PO to call. Passing my son. Guys up. And we here. Nah, man, I was waiting for my PO to call, but you know, we here to cook. It's time to cook, man. My apologies for starting late. My apologies for starting late. You know, I'm still waiting on the phone call. I was gonna go live a little later on, but since I was waiting on the phone call, shout out my brother Frontline. You know, my guy Frontline. I pulled up. Shout out Edwin, Round One Sports. You know, I pulled up over there. You know, great live, very great live. You know, breaking down the WBC and the situation was going on with Shakur. You know, we're going to get into that. But you know, it's all about Tank Davis right now. It's all about Tank Davis. You know, Tank Davis and Coach Calvin being seen again back in the gym. You know, Tank looked like he's still in shape. You know, like he's still in shape from the Jake Paul situation that was going on. What makes I'm gonna keep it real, bro. You know, if that lawsuit really happens, you feel me? You know they're gonna try to smack him in the head with that situation. So the best thing for Tank to do is, and the best thing for the judge to do is make it a stipulation. Be like, listen, man, you want to stay home? You want to stay home? Listen, this is a violation of your probation. We can incarcerate you or put you on a house monitor, but we don't need none of that. We're going to give the world what they want. We're gonna make this a court stipulation that you fight. For you to stay home, you got to get back in the ring, and the judge can make that happen. The judge can make that a court stipulation. Get back in the ring. They can give us the fights that we want to see. You feel me? Because you're going to need the money. You're going to need the money. You feel me? By what we seeing what's going on with Floyd Mayweather and his lawsuit situation, bro. Don't you like Floyd Mayweather must be, you know, something must be wrong with him because Mayweather, once you get, if you sue and get that money, don't you think Tank and Rolly, everybody under Mayweather Promotions will sue you? You know, that's all I'm saying. But with Tank, the judge can make it a stipulation. You know, we got to see him back in the ring. You know, and if that's a stipulation, so when he get back in the ring, is either you do one of the rematches, Pitbull, Lamont, or no, because you got to get a warm up. So your rematch would be either Pitbull or Lamont, and then once you win that fight, you and Shakur. I mean, and that shit go off, or not just move straight to 140 and give one of the brothers up there opportunity. Because at the end of the day, when Tank come back to boxing, he's gonna be the face of boxing. Everybody gonna want to see him. He's gonna sell, nigga, fuck around and sell out a football stadium, you know, because everybody gonna come to see him, you know. But it's all about his match of who he's gonna come back and fight. Because he's still in camp, y'all. He's still in camp. He's still in great shape. You feel me? Coach Cal's still in the corner. You feel me? They know they doing little sneaky situations, sneaky sparring sessions and stuff. He's still being him. You know, he's still being him. But at the end of the day, you're going back to Baltimore. You got a probation violation bench warrant. You know, you're going back to the city of Baltimore to take care. I know how Philly work. I don't know how Baltimore work because I know once you turn yourself in Philadelphia, if I would have went to Miami and turned myself in and shit, nigga, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia would have went to Miami and got my ass. I would have had a detainer and I would have been detained till Philly came and got me. Then I would have came up here and this nigga, they ain't letting me go to the outcome of the case. You feel me? But since they let Tank post bond, because the PO and the judge, they see what's going on. You know, y'all try to sue, but you know, in order for you to sue, it gotta be a criminal case first. It gotta be a criminal charge. You know, yeah, I'm from Philly, man. You know, it got to be a criminal charge. But since they went with the lawsuit first, that's what fucked up. Now y'all backpedaling trying to get the criminal case going so you can get the lawsuit case going. Y'all fucked up. At the end of the day, they messed up, man. Because the judge and everybody gonna look at it, and that's gonna be the lawyer argument shit. If I was the nigga, if I take hire me, nigga. Hire me, nigga. I'm on house arrest. Get me off house arrest, nigga. Hire me, nigga. I'm trying to tell you, bro. I'll smoke shit out the niggas. Because the way I'm gonna beat the case is, look, Yana, you can tell this is a big money grab. You can tell this is a money scheme. You feel me? Just look at the outcome. Y'all filed a lawsuit and realize, like, oh, you if he really did this, why you didn't press charges? You feel me? At the time. But now we see what was going on, and it looks like you're just hungry for money. You just want millions of dollars. It's either you can settle out for this or you just want millions of dollars. But I can understand this man ain't gonna settle out with you because he's gonna want to fight the case. Tank gonna want to fight the case. And when you look at it, how he's gonna beat the criminal cases, you try to sue, but when you try to sue, you had to realize you need a criminal charge for you to sue, and now you're trying to backpedal. Nah, throw that shit out because we see it's just a big money grab. Throw that shit out, and that's how Tank can beat that motherfucking criminal case, you know. But his back judge, when he go to Baltimore, that judge can make it a court stipulation, get your ass back in the ring. She can make it a court stipulation to get him back in the ring. You see how these rappers, right? When these rappers on probation and shit, or state parole, federal parole, they got stipulations. They stipulations is, you know, you can go out and perform, just don't get into trouble, don't get into nothing, no type of nonsense. So Tank can do the same thing. That judge can do the same thing. He's an entertainer. Feel me? We understand they bot, but at the end of the day, man, all them niggas still entertainers. Because when they done, they go out, you know, paparazzi everywhere. At the end of the day, you become a star, and he's the face of boxing. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. Tank Davis is the face of boxing. If you ain't mentioning Canelo, you're mentioning Tank Davis. You dig me? But yeah, man, you know, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on in boxing news, especially, you know, after this Saturday, Shakur Stevenson put on a spectacular performance. You know, heading into the fight, he still was the WBC champion at 135. You know, he wasn't stripped, you know, wasn't vacate, none of that at the time. You know, he ended up becoming the WBO champion, and and now it's just like, and now it's just like, man, them motherfuckers ain't bring me no package at no 9 in the morning, nigga. Man, yeah. But yeah, but going into the fight, Saturday fight, you know, he still was he still held the WBC title. Shout out to Cigar Talk. Shout out to Najee. You know, Najee did an interview with Shakur, first interview that we seen, you know, live, giving it to us. Shakur said he still was the champion at 135, and the next thing you know, not even 3 days, 2 days later, supposedly he got stripped. That's what everybody's saying. The WBC stripped Shakur Stevenson. Shout out to Round One Sports, you know, holding it down, you know, giving people better confirmation and information what's going on and the difference between a person vacating and a person being stripped, you know. And if you people read the text, the post that the WBC president Mauricio Suleiman stated and said, you know, nobody was stripped, you know, so it looks like it's a vacate, you know, but for more on that information, you know, go to Round One Sports News. I mean, Round One Sports News, Round One Sports and shit on YouTube. You know, shout out my guy Frontline and go over there and check them out. And you'll get better information because we did a live on that earlier. You know what I mean? But shout out my co-host Santos Boxing. You know what I mean? It's 0.5 speed all day, every day. But right now, since we on this WBC Shakur situation, it's like at 135, when you go on the WBC site, William Zepeda is already elevated to the WBC Gold Champion, which he already was, but now he's really elevated there. So that means Javier Herrera, whatever his damn name is, know what I mean? He's full champion. He's full champion, or y'all want to let him and William Zepeda fight for that title? You know, it's a lot going on. I want to know. I want to know how the WBC is going to play this out. But when you read the post, it ain't say nothing about Shakur Stevenson being stripped at all. You know, we got to find out, man. It's a lot going on out here, man. It's a lot going on in these streets. You know, staying on this WBC topic, right? At 168, we watch Christian and Billy and Lester Martinez go to war, right? It end up a draw. And Billy, still the WBC interim champion, right? I think he had the silver or the gold. Uh, at the time, at the time, at the time, after the fight, you know, and Bud vacated, you know, Bud got stripped because he didn't pay the sanctioning fees. You know what I mean? Bud got stripped because he didn't pay the sanctioning fees. So, and Billy been elevated to the WBC full champion, right? Since he been elevated to the WBC full champion, since he's been elevated to the WBC full champion, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, we watched this brother make a post, and in the post he stated and claimed like, you know, Lester Martinez should be champion right now, which is what the WBC title that you ain't want, the WBC title that you haven't paid the sanctioning fee for, but you want a person in your camp, to hold that belt. You know, contradiction at its finest, like no zoo for boxing, right? But at the end of the day, you know, I always got to keep it tall. I always got to keep it real. At the end of the day, Terrence Bud Crawford in that post and making M. Billy the champion at 168, and Billy could have had an opportunity and chance to fight who? Bud Crawford for the title at 168. But you know, when you got dogs and those dogs, and what I mean by those dogs, you know, it's a bigger weight class. So you know, we a lot of people see why Canelo ain't give certain people any opportunities. Hey, Toto, you said they should have done a rematch for the belt. Yeah, correct. They should have did a rematch for the belt, you know. But it looks like he's not getting that rematch, you know. Um, I'm gonna keep it tall, man. Whoever, I don't. It's just crazy right now. It's just crazy. It's just like there's a lot of title thoughts out here. You feel me? It's a lot of title thoughts out here. Um, it's wicked. It's all I can say. It's wicked, man. You know, it's real wicked. You got all these damn weight classes. You know, they need to go back to having 8 weight classes. I mean, yeah, 8 weight classes. Because these 17 weight classes is out of pocket. It's very disrespectful and very out of pocket. You know, it's very disrespectful and very out of pocket. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But like I said, yo, hey, we game all night. What's up, boy? It's my guy Ski. What's up, man? My apologies for me coming on late, man. You know, I'm still waiting on my PO to call me, you know what I mean? Came in the room, it's kind of light in here, right? You know, because I gotta tighten up my Wi-Fi at my crib. Like, I got Xfinity, but nigga, that shit don't be super duper speed, you know what I mean? Plus the light, and because where my crib is, you know, I got a condo. So I don't know, it's just probably the building. So when I come over here to work, you know, it's either up here, only 2 belts per weight class. Yeah, facts. It should go back to the old ways, man. Cause this shit right here is so crazy, man. It's so crazy. You know, and like I always tell people, like welterweight, you know, was 140, 147, 154. That was the welterweight class, man. And you got bangers. You know, and we was breaking that down on round one earlier, you know. About fighters. You know how fighters back then, you know, being all banged up because of their situations, and fighters now being more smarter, you know, and not really, you know, 1 fight, 2 fights a year. You feel me? You know, back then that shit was like 4 fights, 6 fights, 7, 8 fights a motherfucker year. You know, plus the pay was a little low. You know what I mean? It depends who you were, but you know, when you always got that WBC title, when you were interim champion at the WBC, nigga, you making 500,000 to 1 million. You feel me? Then when you become full champion, you still make between 1 million and 5 million. You dig me? Until you know you come up. This is facts. You can go look this shit up. This is facts. There's one thing about me, right? I This is my logbook. You know, when you've been in prison so many times, I mean, you watch the COs keep the logbook. Any other back in the day jobs, you know, the book black and white is real. You feel me? Fuck a computer because that shit can crash. Long as you got the logbook, that's all that count. You know, and WBC fighters, they get paid 5K to 5 million per fight. You know, and that's just holding the most prestigious belt in boxing. You feel me? And what's going on with them and Shakur right now? You know, it could have been the first time going back in history right now, you know, that a fighter can hold 2 titles in 2 different weight classes. You feel me? And this is the guy that's going to represent us. You feel me? The WBC, like y'all had Floyd was your face, Shakur is your face, man. Y'all build a relationship with him, man. Y'all build a tight, nice relationship with this boy, man. Then now look, just to go down the drain, Y'all built a beautiful relationship since 126. From him coming into the game, from him coming to the Olympics, and him taking that loss to Robisi Ramirez, thinking Mayweather going to sign him. Then Andre Ward come in, you know, did some some real big bro stuff. Put him under the wing, started managing. You know him, Jay Prince, took this kid to a high level, but they believed in him because they seen the talent. They seen his footwork. They seen like, damn, this got an old soul. He can't be touched. He can't be touched at all. Look at him. You feel me? And the Shakur people have been fiending for since 126. Yo, Jay, what's up? What's up, my guy? Jason, what up, Jason Moses? Um, you know, this is the Shakur I've been fiending for. I'm like, damn, we need the 126, 130 Shakur Stevenson. And we seen it at 140. We didn't get to see that at 135, but at 140, a Ring Magazine WBO champion, the top dog that's there. You know what I mean, the creme la creme, he beat the guy. who beat the guy who beat the other guy. And now since he beat that guy, he the guy now, you know? But the WBC should have let him keep his titles and let him defend his titles. Because in this generation, he would have been the first to do it, and we would have been happy because now we got bangers. So we gonna get WBC bangers, and we're gonna get the WBO bangers. We got mandatories and unifications either way. So he become undisputed either or, but he's already the lineal champion. So what more can he do? You feel me? If you're a lineal champion, you're really undisputed. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. But that's a little tight situation. Like I say, if the situation dropped because I'm on my phone, I'm waiting for my PO to call me. So if it dropped, pardon me, you hear me? I've been waiting for this call since this morning. That's why I started late. So I was like, let me take the chance and opportunity. You feel me? Even if I can get a half hour or hour in before she called, I'm cool. Shout out to my PO, man. You know what I mean? My apologies, no TMI, too much information. But I mean, it is what it is, man. But what y'all think about Tank Davis still being in the gym, going through the situation that he's going through? To me, it shows that he's coming back. He's coming back. There's just a little setback. This setback gonna get clarified. Some people gonna get exposed about behind this situation, and from there it is what it is. But by him staying in shape, staying grounded, well minded, that's what it's about, man. That's the key thing for every other young fighter should look at. When you in tough situations and tough outcomes and your name in the media, bad publicity, good publicity, it doesn't matter. It's all still the same shit, but bad is more attraction, more attention. Um, Learn from this situation. And what I mean by that is stay grounded, stay in the gym. You feel me? Stay off live, stay off social media. If a person take a picture, just let you be walking by. You know. Yeah, I'm about to chat about him. Nah, man, I was cooking on his ass yesterday because it's crazy, bro. Like you made 1.2 billion with Al Heyman, bro. Al Heyman got you over there with Golden Boy. They made you into a superstar. Then Al Heyman turned you into Money Made. You got the biggest gates, biggest lives, biggest paydays, you feel me? And more. Why you didn't sue then? Why you want to sue now? But I'm gonna keep it real, Toto, right? I don't know, is it me? Or I'm just tripping, right? Ever since Tank told Turkey no, this shit been happening. You feel me? He been cool, remember? And then sit with Jake Paul and told him and it was Jay Leon Love, like, nigga, if I hear some shit, it's gonna be some shit. Then what happened? We hear this, remember? You know? And you gotta look at it. He the only person that's not over there. He still ain't bowed. I'm just saying though. Just saying, Then that and then secretly, remember the reason PBC wasn't really putting on cars like that because they was taking all of the venues and shit, but it was a lot of lawsuits going on. But Al Heyman beat all of the lawsuits. Now Floyd Mayweather want to come. Floyd, why you ain't do that shit back then? But what's gonna fuck Floyd up, nigga? Remember, nigga, you did Tank Davis dirty in that Rolly fight and all them other fights. Kept giving that boy $10,000, and that boy's supposed to get $1 million paydays, bro. After that, he started making 10, 20 million to fight once he got Floyd out the fucking way. Yeah, that's fact. And but you feel me though, toe? With the Tank situation and that Turkey shit, like I'm only stating facts. He the only motherfucker that ain't bow. But Floyd, you investing in your money to some crazy shit, bro. You got to take them losses on yourself. Like for instance, that's the business. You're signed to him. He's your advisor. You under PBC promotion. You under their banner. So if you made 2.1 billion, don't you think they probably made 2.4, 2.8? Why are you counting their pockets? It's a team of people, individuals, entities that's eating behind that. You're the only one that's eating behind the 1.2. Plus, when you pay taxes, Uncle Sam, right? Like we got to keep that thought. Since you fucked up your money and made bad business decisions, stop counting the next man's pockets, bro. Because if it was like that, you would have been sued, nigga. You would have been sued. You would have been sued. And don't be surprised, man. It won't fall through, then Tank come for your ass. Because the shit you did to Tank is crazy, bro. Even Rolly, even Hitchens, even Jalil Hackett. Bro, you did a lot of people dirty. You know? Floyd did a lot of people dirty under Mayweather Promotions. So don't do that, broski. Especially a brother that put everything behind you, man. Turned you into the true face of boxing. Know what I mean? Made it you. Nigga, even losses. So in this lawsuit, know what I mean? Imagine you do this lawsuit. Imagine you say, all right, fuck it, we're going to expose it. We had red judges. We had rigged judges, red referees. Everything was fixed. They can fuck you up like that, Floyd. Chill, man. Chill, bro. No PVC all the way. You got to chill. Yeah, 10 can. But it'll look crazy. And the reason I say it'll look crazy because the shit you said and you stand in your ground. So you gotta respect the motherfucker that stand in his ground, bro. Like for instance, Teofimo, right? The world knew. Even if Teo would have went in there and beat the dog shit out of Shakur, he still wasn't gonna win. Why? Because of that tweet. That tweet he said that nigga's a dictator when he called Turkey a dictator. That shit aged like fine wine. It aged like fine wine. That shit aged like fine wine. You know, there's certain ways you can look at certain situations. You feel me? Like Canelo, you said no, now you over there kissing the ring, and look, you on some WWE shit. Canelo whole this whole Canelo shit about to be some WWE shit. You feel me? That's why when Bud was fighting Canelo, I wasn't too big on it. The reason I wasn't because I'm like, Canelo already got lost. You feel me? If it would have been Floyd then Bud, I would have been like, all right, cool. Like it means something. But when you go up and get a nigga named Bivol, like nobody knew who the fuck Bivol was. All Canelo did was throw him the oop. And don't be surprised, y'all. Don't be surprised. You see Canelo sign Bivol and Bivol under Canelo promotion soon. Don't be surprised. I'm just telling y'all, he taking the playbook from Oscar. I'm just telling y'all, don't be surprised. Know what I mean? But that's how I looked at this situation. Issue is he was getting granted money, but part of his bag was set to invest in PVC. And part of going all that. Facts. They made Canelo definitely made Canelo look like a sellout. But yo, Jason just cooked on the situation. The issue is he was getting guaranteed money, but part of his bag was set to invest in PVC. That's where the number of 300 plus million is coming from. Floyd didn't understand the part of going all in, which he didn't. Cause even Mayweather Promotions, that shit sunk. You feel me? That shit sunk. So he really ain't understand nothing. You know, son, what up? You know, that motherfucker ain't really understand nothing. No, Floyd can't read, so that's why he can't understand. How the fuck he gonna comprehend if he can't read? You gotta read it for him so he can comprehend. But him understanding his son, the shit say Netflix. He probably say need teeth. I'm gonna hold that shit down 0.5 speed. You hear front? I got you. You on Santos cooking me in the motherfucking chat. I mean, on the text messages. But yeah, you know, Floyd can't read. You feel me? That nigga can't read, man. Now, I mean, you tell a nigga say it was how he say Canelo. You put Canelo in front of his face, he'll say, Can Elo. Like, well, you stupid motherfucker. Like, can you read, nigga? Nigga can't read. I mean, nigga, I think Tank can't read neither, man. Listen, when you have conversations with some fighters, you be like, what the fuck is he talking about? You tell a nigga, yeah, yo, like, how you get into boxing? Yeah, I just want to be a better man for my daughters. You know, I love them so much. I gotta be a better man for my nigga. What the fuck do that gotta do with you? The man just asked you, what got you into boxing? Why the fuck you talking? I gotta do better for my daughters. What's up, front? What up? You dig, Ski? You know? Yeah, they all good dudes though. They all good dudes. A lot of people got good hearts, but it's that certain people don't know how to take advantage of the time and opportunity. You feel me? A lot of people fall into fan mode and become male thoughts, female thoughts. They become real groupies. And what I mean by that is all them niggas is chilling around Floyd, whatever. Y'all just there to take pictures and post it on the gram? Or are you there to network, you know, learn who the key figures is, and start your own promotional company? Get your own fighters. Become your own manager, managing your own fighters. You understand me? A lot of people don't have that business mindset. If I'm around anybody like that, nigga, like common sense, this is no disrespect. You know, I used to go upstate to jails and shit, nigga. All right, niggas know who I am, so all right, who to connect, the nigga that, and you know you go. But people don't think like that. People don't think like that, man. A lot of motherfuckers don't think like that. But that's the key thing is when you're around these people, network. And Floyd was around key figures. And all he did was get with a certain entity that all bad investments. All bad investments. You know what I mean? Shit, remember when he was in Dubai? I won't be surprised Turkey and them had that nigga hostage. Y'all won't be surprised Turkey had them niggas hostage. Biggest scammer is sanctioning bodies. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, but like listen. Hey, Fauci, right? Shout out to Round One Sports. We was cooking on that topic earlier, right? The difference between vacating and being stripped. You know, when you look at the post, what the WBC put out, they said they haven't stripped him. It's like he vacated, you know. But let's be real. Let's keep it tall. You know, going into the fight, when Saturday came and Shakur got in that ring, the world knew that they was going to take the belt from him. You feel me? But since they didn't, and then Sunday he do the interview with Najee, which came out Monday, and that was the third, and he stated, you know, told the world, you know, I'm still the champion. I'm still the WBC champion, and I'm the WBO champion, which would have been fire. That shit would have been the best thing that I mean since sliced bread. But then, not even 13 hours later, going into the fourth, you know, people come straight out. They strip me. They this and that. When a vacation is different, because when y'all read the post of the WBC president Mauricio Suleiman, he said that, you know, they stripped him and that they looking for a future champion for the future. But when you go in the WBC situation, you look up William Zepeda elevated to go. So that means Javier Herrera should be full champion then, right? You know, we don't know. We're gonna find out, man. You know, but they should have left him champion. Y'all built a relationship with him. The WBC, y'all built a relationship with him, right? This is the crazy thing about the WBC. Y'all watched Shakur lose to Edwin De Los Santos, and y'all rewarded him and gave him that title at 135. Shakur, when he fought Edwin De Los Santos for the full WBC champion, that's what they fought for. Y'all gave him that title. Because we can't say, people say, well, no, he hurted his hand. If he hurted his hand, then what fucking punches he was throwing? Because I ain't see him throw no punch. And yet, that's all they wanted was 100K. You feel me? But if you know that, see, that's what I don't know. I don't know, man. But you're the champion. You're representing them. That's how they're looking at it. This is how the WBC looking at it, right? It doesn't matter you're going to a different weight class. You're still the champion. So if you would have won up there and lost, you still been the champion down here, but you lost. You understand me? Nigga, this is the best belt in the world. You know that. The world know that. At the end of the day, I would have gave him that 100K. I would have said, here, oh, the 100K, bro, you would have made history. It would have been history. You said, take that 100K. I'm a champion in 2 divisions. Run that shit. Bro, I would have paid that. Me, I would have paid that. I would have gave him that 100K. Because I'm representing y'all. And I know me having that green belt, the most prestigious belt, I'm going to get the biggest paydays. Now I'm rising to superstardom. I done beat the dog shit out of the nigga that said he beat all Puerto Ricans, and I'm the Puerto Rican to whoop his ass. You talk all of this shit about us black people, I'm the black motherfucker that whooped his ass, which we the same people. I beat the dog shit out of this Honduras motherfucker. You know what I mean? This how boxing always was. You pay your sanctioning fee, but they get you the biggest paydays in fights too, just by holding the belt. Go look up how much a fighter make just by holding that WBC title. I wouldn't kid. Listen, the ring is really a wrestling magazine belt, man. That's what I want people to know. I was born in the early '80s. So growing up in the '80s and shit, even in the '90s when it just stopped. You feel me? Because the wrestling magazine stopped selling like that. So Sports Illustrated came in, started running the game and shit. You had everybody was hooked to the Source magazines, Word Up magazines and shit. Those vacated and stripped for the history book on fact. It's not good on record of being stripped, and that's what I was talking about when we was on Round One Sports, where people can go back and watch that live. It was a good interview with that one broke down the difference. You feel me? But the key thing he was mentioning in that live was, you know, whatever's going on with Bud, don't put that shit on his young boy. He ain't got nothing to do with what you got going on, you know? And let's keep it tall, y'all. What belt you rather have, the WBO or the WBC? Because the ring don't make you no money. Having a ring belt don't make you no money. Don't make you no money. You don't like people thinking it whole weight. No, it truly, truly, truly holds weight just for the fucking magazine. Because the first belt is the WBA. Know what I mean? That's the oldest belt in the game. 1921. That's the oldest belt. The ring came out 1922, and that shit was based upon wrestling. Then they entered the boxing phase a couple years later. So, know what I mean? That's all it is. It's just the trophy front line. And that's what I hope people understand. Like, bro, the WBC is the most prestigious belt, bro. Then after that, the WBA. We gonna keep that shit tall. Then, WBO, IBF. The IBF just respect. See, one thing about the IBF, they respect the rehydration clause. You feel me? Because this is what I want people to understand. Back then, when I was growing up, it was 8 weight classes. So the welterweight, you got 140, 147, 154. That was welterweight. Now that welterweight division, they broke that shit into 3 weight classes: junior welterweight, regular welterweight, and super welterweight. Make it make sense. Go back to the 8. Go back to the real judging. You feel me? And what I mean by that, the person that land the most points and shots, man, win the fight. You feel me? But if you're fighting the champion, you gotta take it. That point shit ain't gonna count. Only when you're not a title holder. But when you're a champion, you gotta take it from the champion. If you ain't get the fuck up out of here. Know what I mean? Yeah, the ring's just an achievement, a acknowledgement. You right on that front line. You definitely right on that. Like I said, the alphabet belts. Yeah, you damn right. They the real belts, man. They the real belts. And the WBC is the most prestigious one. You got the WBA. The WBO, if I'm not mistaken, it come from Puerto Rico. You feel me? But the world know the WBO is top ranked belt. Everybody know that's top ranked belt, man. Don't believe me? Just go look at every top ranked fighter. The first belt they ever win is the WBO. Keyshawn, Abdullah Mason, Terrence Paul Crawford. That's why he got a relationship with the WBO. Shakur, you got a relationship with the most prestigious belt. Listen, this is no hate, no shade. Do you think Terrence Bud Crawford was jealous of Shakur? Because the WBC really fully embraced Shakur Stevenson. Hey, Fauci, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. Like, the Ring Magazine cards that I be telling people, like, it ain't the fights we really want to see. We still never got Canelo Benavidez. We still did get Bud fight Boots or Virgil. None of that shit. The true fights everybody been wanting since 2020. Since 2019 and 2020. Niggas been wanting these fights. We never got none of them bitches. You know? But do he put on good cards? Yes. Yes, but it's the promoters that's the only reason I get. If Turkey would have came over here and dealt with Al Heyman and supposedly the money he giving out, it would have been all pay-per-view shit. You feel me? And we really would have got the fights. But when you dealing with certain promoters who you come in with Eddie to go holler at Oscar. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. We're gonna keep this shit talk. 2022. Did anybody give a fuck about the ring? I still ain't get the fight I want. Turkey ain't give me the fight I want. You know what I mean? You said, what does Bud gain from Boots? What did Bud gain from Madrimov? And I don't want to. Madrimov was the interim champion. I'm not trying to hear none of that shit. Charlo was the champion. To after the fight when Bud fought Madrimov, the night after that Sunday, the WBA, what it was, the WBA at the time, was it, what belt was that? The Bud had was the WBA or WBO, whatever belt that was. They put Charlo a champion as the WBA. They put him in recess. And then the other belt these niggas had, it was a re-op belt. It was a fake WBC belt. I know, nigga. I got to strike for that shit. I got to strike. Them niggas flagged my channel for that, John, bro. Yeah, you know. Then on top of that, let's keep it real. Like if you ain't pay your sanction fee, do that make you undisputed? Y'all did it to T.O. Let's keep it real, and T.O. is really undisputed because nobody ain't beat Loma. And if y'all want to keep it real, the WBA at 147, Stanionis had the real belt the whole time. These niggas was elevated. Remember, Earl was elevated. Stanionis had the real the whole time, just like Devin, who had the regular, right? And Lomachenko had the super, you know what I mean, which was the franchise, the diamond, which makes you the guy. You're the guy. These niggas little dogs, you're the guy. You know, so we're going to make his little gay ass happy. Excuse my name, we're going to make his little chump ass happy just by, for entertainment purposes only, not to get mad. You know what I mean? Hey, Frontline, Tia was undisputed. All people got to do is just go back and watch the fight. It says right at the end of the fight. I'm not giving Devin Haney that, man. I'm not giving Devin Haney that. I'm not. The same bitch nigga who he's supposed to fight Javier Fortuna, he ran to the hospital and put a cast on. Like it's Halloween. Taking a picture like this. Nigga, you just ducked Javier Fortuna, nigga. Nah. Yeah, he held the WBC. Lomachenko had the super. He held the WBC. You see him put the WBC on at the end of the fight. Remember, they elevated Loma. Loma held the WBC. He was the WBC champion. Lomachenko was the true WBC champion. Devin was second. Dev need to stop that shit. Dev need to stop that shit. Go back and watch it. All people got to do, go to YouTube and go to the end of the fight, and it's going to pop right up. And the new undisputed champion of the world, Tio, Primo Lopez. You know what I mean? And people got to respect that. You know? I'm a respect him for that, you know? He went in there and beat the guy. Beat the guy. The same guy when Shakur and Tevin Farmer did an interview with, standing next to him, they all say he was whooping their ass. You know what I mean? That's one thing about Ellie Setback. That nigga archives is deep. You know, that nigga archive. And at that time, I was on a run. You know what I mean? I was on a run for motherfucker for probation. I gave them niggas 34 months. You know what I mean? Of pressure. You know, but you know, it's always these top ranked people, man. Like I always say, it's always these top ranked people. You know, and I tell people, man, pay attention to the businesses that Turkey bought up. And when he buy these businesses, there are multiple shell companies that's under these businesses that's spreading false media. It's like right now they spreading false media saying Shakur was stripped when he wasn't. To my knowledge, he wasn't. I mean, I'm gonna listen to the WBC than listen to anybody else, you know. Now, at the time, though, that's what I'm saying, though, Frontline, at the time, they made him undisputed. Know what I mean? Like, you can go on there right now. That's why I'm going to send you the joint when they break down having a WBA super is like having a WBC franchise. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you. I just was reading it earlier when I was on the WBC website. That's how I knew each WBC fighter, just having that title from the interim and just having a regular belt, you make between 500,000 to 500,000 to 5 million per fight. And then that's when I was reading, you know, Zepeda became full. He the full champion. He the full gold WBC champion. Go in there and look it up. It's there, y'all. Go in there and look it up. You know, and it says it right there, clear as day. You know, I should have screenshot that shit. You know, the WBA Super is like having a the WBC franchise. And that's why I'm saying But all of them niggas that got the super, that makes you not undisputed. Because Stanionis had the real WBA title since 2022. Know what I mean? And that's when they elevated Earl Spence, remember? They elevated Earl. And when with Stanionis won that WBA title, he never got elevated the full title because he always had the champion. He always had the title. And that's why I tell people, well, if y'all saying he's not that because they elevated him to the franchise champion, then having a super is the same thing like having a WBC franchise. You're not undisputed. And let's keep it real. That means Bud not 3-time undisputed because he didn't pay the sanctioning fee. And Teal says the same shit that happened to me then. Like, if you ain't paid the sanctioning fee, you're not undisputed. You got to keep it real, bro. We got to keep that shit tall. If you didn't pay the sanctioning fee, you're not undisputed. But we're going to give him the nod and say, well, he is. We can't do that. It go both ways. We can't do that, man. And the reason I'm protecting the fighters, because I love the sport of boxing. Now, I mean, I love the sport of boxing. We're not going to do that. And y'all going to tell me the shit that I'm hearing every time I watch Teofimo versus Lomachenko. And at the end of the fight, they called Teofimo undisputed. I'm not going to say he undisputed. They just labeled that nigga that. He got the Ring magazine. He the lineal champ. And everybody know becoming the lineal champ make you undisputed. Yeah, they vacated the belt. They didn't strip him. That's what I'm saying. Like these people. That's why, yo, we had a fire interview earlier. You know, I want y'all to go check that out, man. Round One Sports. You know, shout out to Edwin, man. We had a fire interview earlier, breaking this situation down. The difference between a person being stripped and a person being elevated. A person being stripped and a person vacating. You know, I'm talking about elevated and shit. He Mauricio Suleiman said, you know, vacated, but they still looking for a champion. You know, just pay the fucking 100K so you can make history. You know, and everything. Shout out to round one. Round one, like he was making a lot of sense. That, you know, when you really look at the situation, is it's a Bud problem. It's not a Shakur problem, and that's why I'm putting into the atmosphere. You got to look at the body sanctions and the relationship they have with the fighters. The WBC relationship comes with Shakur since the Olympics, 126, 130. Pay attention, y'all, because these body sanctions, they watch these kids at a young age. You feel me? And they're going to pick who's going to be their champion 9 times out of 10. Look, all you got to do is look at Shakur's first title. Every weight class he was at, he was the WBC champion. Am I right or wrong, right? He built a relationship with them. Y'all even watched it in the De Los Santos fight. He lost that fight, and they still gave him the title. Now, I mean, they still gave him the title. You know, they gave him that title. You know, and I would have paid that shit just to make history to hold 2 titles in 2 different weight classes. He would have been the only fighter right now in boxing right now, been the only fighter holding 2 titles in 2 different weight classes. He got to pay that shit, Corey. Pay that shit. Make it a difference. Because they know you're going to be the superstar. You've been waiting for this shit. That's why you cool, calm, and collected. Pay that shit, bro. Pay it. Pay it. You're going to do something nobody haven't done. As of that, to date, nobody done. Nobody done. That's what it, listen. This is what I tell people, right? You can get all 4 titles, right? But you got to get the lineal to make you undisputed. You got to get a lineal. Even listen, what Max Kellerman told Jay Opataya, you know, getting the lineal champion, you know, having a ring make you undisputed. Everybody know that. Why do you think Derrick James even say, yo, Tia was the first to do it? The first person with the 2-time lineal, I mean? Remember, Floyd got 4 of them. But I understand your acknowledgement and what you're saying is that, you know, that makes everybody undisputed, you know? But that was how the ring was. That's what I'm saying. When I was growing up watching this shit, man, you know, it was 3 belts and a ring. Nobody gave a fuck about the ring. That's why I tell people, man, nobody cared about the ring, man. When Oscar De La Hoya held the Ring magazine, did anybody give a fuck about it? Did they throw any Ring magazine awards? Like, let's keep this shit tall, man. Riyadh season it was bubbling, but it couldn't bubble like that. Remember, they had to restart this shit a couple of times. You know what I mean? So the best way to start it is he couldn't cop Box Rec, so he got Boxing, became partners with Boxing, purchased the Ring magazine. I got all of the shell companies that's under them. I got all of the lion niggas like Mike Coppinger, bum ass Dana White. I mean, bum ass Dana White, bum ass Max Kellerman, Joe Tessitore. You got Andre. You got all of the top ranked niggas. Then when top that you got all of the top ranked niggas, top rank HBO, then when top rank with the ESPN. So you got top rank HBO, top rank ESPN, all broadcasters, announcers, and analysts. Not one PBC motherfucker on it. Then you got Sergio Mora and motherfucker Chris Mannix. Let's keep it real, man. Them niggas is ass, man. You got everybody, right? That was a PBC. Because we got to keep this shit tall. When PBC had they run, they had all of the fighters. They was bubbling. All of the fighters was getting rich. You know, it wasn't no biasness, but it was always hate because the people that Bob Arum left the company to. Remember, they got that lawsuit. Remember dealing with the motherfucking mob bull, the Ireland mob bull and shit back in 2022. You know, the Tyson Fury. How you think Deontay Wilder won that $70 million from that Tyson Fury fight? You know, how you think? Damn, my son 148. That's what's up, son. He 148.8. And you know, how you think? It's going to come out in 2022 how they made all the Ukrainians in Top Rank. How they made all the Ukrainians a champion again. They made Loma the IBF champion. Barenchek, Navarrete was beating the shit out of Barenchek. I don't know how Barenchek became the champion. You feel me? Then, like, that's why I tell people, like, I like Keyshawn as a fighter, but Barenchek, nigga, Barenchek, nigga, I'll whoop Barenchek ass. I will beat the dog shit out of Barenchek. I'll put him down for real ski. You know what I mean? But hey, no, the best matchmaking in the game. You hear me? They do the best matchmaking in the game. And then when you expose a fighter, it always end up a no contest, right? We watch Bochica expose Brian Norman, a no contest. We watch Nair Albright expose Keyshawn, a no contest, you know? Just saying, it was always a no contest. Always. It's always. You don't know why he called out Dev? Oh, listen, me neither. I'm gonna keep it tall, me neither. But you know, they mentioning the DM situation. You feel me? So whatever's going on in the DMs, that's what. Now keep that shit in the DMs, niggas. Now everybody wanna be CMG, Yo Gotti, you hear me? But at the end of the day, it's like keep your shit tall. No, you just got the 140. You got the victory at 140. You backstage. You running the Dalton Smith. Yo, what's up? But I'm hearing. Remember, I heard that the WBC said, nigga, the Pollo rematch, the Pollo fight mandatory. The Pollo fight mandatory. And I read that in a WBC article. You know, they made that shit mandatory. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Dev can get the fight too. You know? But, nigga, Boots can stop that shit. Remember, Boots the WBA intern champion at 154. That nigga the WBA intern champion. But with the IBF, see, that's what I want people to understand. Erison Lubin did some corny shit. Because when Boots moved up, the world know after Lubin fought Holmes, he became the mandatory for the IBF. He won in the purse bid. When Boots moved up, I'm going to be careful what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it, right? When Boots fought Stanionis, remember, that was his last fight with who? That was his last fight with Eddie, right? Before he re-signed a multi-year contract, right? So PBC probably, I'm just thinking, right? Because if I was PBC, I'm like, oh, this is last fight. Well, I'm gonna give him this unification because I got Fedora. Fedora got the belt, and you know, main event that's Bakram. The motherfucker still deal with us. I can get him that belt. You feel me? So we're gonna give him this fight. But since Boots didn't, when he got the fight, became unified, and they probably think he gonna leave Eddie and come to PBC, and he didn't. They probably said, man, fuck you. Telez, since remember, Telez was the what? The WBA intern champion, right? So what happened? Go fight a boss. We're gonna get money with Jake Paul. All right. Then who they looked at? Bakram, right? Erison Lubin, you see Pro Box, still Pro Box PBC. All right, we're going to stall out this purse bid because we're going to make sure this young motherfucker don't get no title shot. Why? Because he's the unified champion. He can force the WBA mandatory and the IBF mandatory at 154. You feel me? A lot of people sleeping on Xander. Xander going to beat the dog shit out of it. Same thing Ryan Garcia did, Devin. Xander going to do to him, but just with better feet. Xander just got better feet. He's going to do the same thing Ryan did, but it's going to be cleaner, more accurate, and more of an ass whooping. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be more of an ass whooping. Devin Haney still do the bow and arrow jab. Y'all, people be talking about, like, yo, he beat. No, the fuck he didn't. If you take the knockdown from the Brian Norman fight, how do that fight look? Because you're going to see, once he got that knockdown, third round, he started clinching. Devin the clinch Haney. Nah. Only thing I say about Bill is he never should have went that way when his son got his ass whipped. And the reason I say that because, you see how you brought up the PEDs? But Devin and them work with a well-known nigga that went to jail for PEDs, a nigga that told on his wife. Victor Conte is the PED king. Then he come home and created VADA testing. This is a motherfucking fact. Got people from the New York State Athletic Commission, got a few doctors, they started VADA. I want you to go back in time. Go back to 2011, 2010, 11. Remember, he kept coming at WADA. VADA wasn't out yet. He kept coming at WADA testing, talking about they don't know shit. And then when he helped create VADA and got it up off the ground, remember, one of the top dogs that worked for the New York State Athletic Commission and VADA, which was Kimberly, found who dirty? Ryan, right? When they found Ryan dirty, right? 11 days later, May 1st, she found him dirty, right? Gave him a positive test. Then she resigned. Kimberly Slumbers, why you found him positive? Then get, like, come on. Victor Conte is the PD king. Know what I mean? All them niggas that work with him are Pete. All them niggas is on something. Like, come on. Clarissa Shields don't even fucking smoke weed. Remember, they found her urine dirty. Her shit got popped dirty. Oh, he come back, save her. It's marijuana. The bitch don't even smoke. Listen, if Ryan wasn't clean, right, Devin Haney would have won the lawsuit. You know that, right? Devin Haney lost that lawsuit, right? And I want the world to understand, too. Devin Haney was suspended for a year, too. That's why he couldn't fight. I want people to know that, too. When you used to go on BoxRec, they said that he was suspended for a year. Devin Haney was suspended for a year, too. You know? It was... that's why I just broke her. I just gave you the name, Kimberly Slumps. Kimberly, the bitch Kim Slumbers. She worked it for the New York State and this is fact. It's on my community. I've been posting this shit. When I beat my case and came home, I posted it because that shit was corny. Yeah, it was weird. You feel me? You're going to find him dirty the night of, the day of. You're testing him. You're testing him. This nigga drinking, smoking weed. So why weed didn't pop up in his system? I'm just saying, though, why weed didn't pop up in his system? Yeah, it's done before the fight. Like, for instance, this is about to cook everybody. Where the fuck is Janet Big B samples at? We're still waiting on Janet Big B samples when you know the B sample is still going to be just like the A sample. Why the fuck Janet Big haven't provided his B sample yet? That's all I'm saying, though. I mean, when it comes to our fighters, it's always a crazy conspiracy, you know? But like I tell people, you go work with Snack, nigga, go work with him too. No, but this Janet Big situation is very, very weird. The nigga ain't even stripped yet. They ain't even stripped the motherfucker yet. You know what I mean? And if they strip him, it opened up a lot of doors. And I won't be surprised if when they strip him, don't be surprised if they strip Janet back and we watch Xander fight at 160 his next fight. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You feel me? Don't be surprised. But if you give Virgil Ortiz that opportunity, Virgil, you got to go to Puerto Rico, nigga. You seen that crowd. You seen that motherfucking crowd. You seen that venue. You seen how that shit looked. That shit looked beautiful, man. You seen that crowd? That joint was sold out, man. That joint, like, well, to me, it looked sold out. That shit was lit. Know what I mean, I'm looking at the Xander coming down the walk entrance. I'm like, damn, that shit gave me the '90s feel. When you used to watch Tyson walk down the aisle and they gave you that raw feel. I was like, dang, that shit gave me that feeling. I'm like, I was happy for him. Happy for him. You had a good gate. Good viewership and shit. Your pay-per-views was kind of cool. Hey, 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 Frontline, you want to know what's the funniest thing about Snack is, right? Let's say, for instance, right? We purchase the snack, right? But the fighters don't take the snack that we purchase. They get shots. So what the fuck is you taking? Any shot is a steroid, bro. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That shit is a steroid. Hey, Fortune, we definitely need that Virgil Boots ASAP. We need that shit now. But, there's a big but. Because you just watch who Xander called out. See, Boots is the WBA intern, so he can get the Xander fight, but the world know that Josh Kelly and Boots is about to happen. That's a mandatory. It's happening. That's on Josh Kelly contract. So since that's on Josh Kelly contract, you make Josh Kelly versus Boots. Xander called out Virgil. Virgil go to Puerto Rico. If Virgil win, he got the opportunity to become a unified champion and make up for the 2 weight classes that he didn't become champion in. But it ain't Xander gonna beat him the fuck up. So we're gonna get Boots and Xander after that. You know what I mean? I would do it like that and have Boots and the winners fight at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Because we can get it. It's January, right? Right now it's February. They fought 31st. So you might as well still say, we can get that March. You feel me? Or we can get it between April. We can get it April, and then the end of the year we can get the winner out of them. You feel me? That's the best way to go about it. That's the best way to go about it. That's the best way to go about it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The man though had to wait. You feel me? But Frontline, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, Boots, no, he the WBA intern. He's the man though, right? But common sense, right? I'm just saying for me, right? If Josh Kelly contract already said if he win the IBF, he automatically fight Boots. Boots, just go take that shit from him. You feel me? Even though you can go take it from Xander, but Xander called out Virgil, right? Am I right or wrong? So make that fight happen. You feel me? Puerto Rico versus Mexico. America versus Brit. Let's make it happen. And then the winners meet at the end of the year. And then the winner out of that fight, the winner out of Findor and Keith Thurman, top of 2027. That's a banger. Now we got a undisputed situation going on right here. Now, I mean, unless Xander moved to 160. You feel me? I don't know. No, I don't know. I mean, we got to find out and see how this situation go. Damn, they got this joint loud, man. They got it real loud. I ain't trying to get a copyright, man. Damn, man, my joint buzzing too right now. Yo, if my joint happened to click off, that's probably my PO calling because I ain't put it on the laptop. I put it on my phone. Then they got this loud ass TV on in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear it, so I'm gonna try to. I'm about to put something more. Give me a second, man. Please give me a second. Man, I'm gonna put me on the screen real fast and see can y'all hear me on the joint so I can block out that noise. Hopefully. I'm just gonna put me. Hopefully, I don't get a copyright playing my shit in the background. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put my music on. That's what I'm gonna do. Put my music on, keep it in the background, so I won't have to try to get a copyright strike. I ain't gonna lie. About me and my Puerto Rico fighters. I'm biased as fuck. The only fight that has me on the edge is the Boots fight. Yeah, that's the only fight. All right, I'm about to put it on. You can't hear the TV. Well, that's cool then. Thank you, Front. That that's the best fight there, and that's the only fight that I think Xander have a tough competition with. Shout out my broski Santos boxing. Santos think Xander ain't like that. And I told him I believe Xander beats Virgil. I believe he beats Virgil. But yo, I'm hearing Berlanga versus Resendez for the WBA. Now I mean. I heard Berlanga going against Armando Resendez, the guy that beat Caleb Plant. I heard him and Caleb Plant about to get about to get it in. And I'm gonna keep it tall, man. The way Shiraz hand wraps was, you feel me? And what he did to Berlanga, like, hey, all Berlanga got to do is keep his chin tucked and his hands up. Long as he can keep that shit and get past the first half, he cool. Cause he like a Brian Norman Jr. The first half of the fight, they chinny because they still trying to find their ground. And once they find it, they take off. That's why I said what I said is if you take that knockdown from Devin Haney, how do the fight look with him and Brian Norman? You said Plant wins that? That was a turkey stuff. that was a turkey setup, a fucking Oscar De La Hoya setup. Cause remember how Oscar came? Remember how he came to the joint, throwing all that shit on him? You feel me? The purse, the thong, yo, that shit. Listen, one thing about Berlanga, man, there's certain niggas, man. I love watching their press conference. I love watching they face off. You know, Berlanga is gonna bring it to you. You're gonna have fun with it. Adrian Broner used to bring it. You're gonna have fun with it. You know, even T.O. crazy ass. You know, but it's certain people like you gotta sell a fight, man, and attract people to the fight. Sometimes you gotta do some crazy shit. But Berlanga always kept it cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, nah. What you call it? He said it at the motherfucking Ring Magazine show. It was on a joint. He was on his live on Instagram. He was on his live like this. And he was like, yeah, they all joking around and shit. And you got Armando Resendez at the end. He said, oh shit, look at my eye. Oh, man, nigga, we about to fight. Look at my eye. And he went back like this and shit. And started going like this and shit, talking and shit. Yeah. Yeah. That's when I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Know what I mean? It blew my mind. I said, oh, he gonna get the opportunity. Oh, so Berlanga gonna get the opportunity. You know, I thought somebody else was gonna get. I forgot who was the mandatory for the WBA at 168. I thought that person. My next video. I'm gonna have more information about who I thought Resendez was gonna fight. But I'm gonna go back and find the clip on Berlanga's situation. Is on his page on Instagram and I know it's on Instagram because that's where I seen it at. That the day of when it was at the that conference and shit. I mean the awards. They was at the awards. You know. I ain't even see Virgil at the awards, you know. Berlanga turned it down not because of a duck or money. He backed out, drawing boards. He regrouping with his team. Oh, that's cool then. Cause I'm gonna be real. If he was taking that fight, it was too early for him. You know, nah, nigga. We need something else. We need something else to see if your chin right. You feel me? We need something else to see if your chin right. I'm just keeping it real because I like Berlanga as a fighter. You know, he not ass to me. You know, but he need to go back to being how he was in the amateurs. You know, sometimes, you know, bring your boxing pedigree back out. Hey, yo, sports prediction 101. What's up, broski? You know, but listen, this is one thing I learned, right? Like I'm gonna use Shushu Carrington for an example, right? And I like Shushu a lot, right? But I'm gonna use Shushu just for an example. He doesn't. It's one of these. Resendez versus Munguia, that's still a banger. Oh, that's a banger. That's a banger. Yeah, I'd rather see that shit. But like he gotta go back, like go back in your tool bag more, you know, cause you a good boxer. Never give up what got you there. You know, you never give up what got you there. You know, but when you tell other people, you know, certain fighters, like Danny Garcia was like that, you know, I was in the bed. Like I'm gonna keep it tall, y'all. I'm gonna keep this shit real. You know, two Philly fighters I wasn't a fan of, and that was Danny Garcia and motherfucking Cool Boy Stuff. I wasn't fans of them, and I'm still not. You know, Danny Danny made shit happen. Cool Boy made shit happen, but sometimes you know, like when Danny went to Puerto Rico, cause my cousins and them was over there. You know, they went with him and shit. Um, Shout out my cousin Picklehead and shit. So make a long story short, when he fought La Maestro, you know, the guy Herrera at the time, and Jorge Herrera was whooping his ass, and they awarded Danny. Lamont Peterson was whooping Danny ass. They awarded Danny. You feel me? Um, Cool Boy Stuff, the first Brandon Figueroa fight. We seen it. You know, the Carlos Castro fight. We seen it. You know, but I never was a big fan of him. Like, yo, I think I can beat Cool Boy. I'm being real, y'all. You know, Danny, I can't. Know what I mean? Like I probably can, but that nigga he really punch hard. You know, niggas in his trenches, you know, that nigga punch hard. He might be slow, but that nigga punch hard. But he's really not. You know, and what I seen from Danny, you know, sparring wise, like I call it a 6-inch fighter. When you just countering like you on the inside, he's a very good when you see this nigga in sparring when he on the inside, he can't be touched. You see how Shakur stay off the line, like his line game, like this way, getting his head off the line this way and stepping back, it's spectacular. But he's only 6 inches away, 3 to 6 inches away from you. But his inside game is great, but he don't use it. But when he in the inside in a regular fight, remember it always. Which when you watching him sparring, he don't do that. But it's a key thing because niggas be having headgear on, you know. But I never was fans of them. I never was. I don't give a fuck. You know. Um, Boots, I always been a fan of him, you know, just knowing that he was coming up the ranks and just hope he got his opportunity. Then when he got with Karen Duncan, you know, we thought he was getting signed to PBC. I think I always thought he was a PBC fighter. I'm gonna keep it real. I always thought Gabe was better than Danny. When they both came out at the same time, I thought Gabe was better than Danny. You heard Frontline? I always thought Gabe was better than Danny. He's just, you know, he got robbed in certain situations, man. Besides Canelo, who really gave Triple G a run for his money? You know what I mean? I mean that's what I. But that's no that's what I always thought. Gabe was better than Danny. You know, and I thought Gabe was going to go like more like become what Danny became. No, I thought Gabe was going to become what Danny became, and Danny did it. You know, Danny did it, man. No, Danny did it. But one thing about Gabe, man, like you say, man, he a gladiator, man. That boy, that boy Achilles, you know what I mean? His only problem was, you know, shortages. Even Tevin Farmer, when Tevin came in the game, you know, he got some bullshit, no losses under his belt. Came back, bounced back, did what he did, you know. But he let people know that it's still here. This is the real Philly, y'all. This is the real Philly. This is the real Philly. But right now, man, we're gonna see how this whole situation gonna go. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why the fuck my John just do that. You know. Was that my PO calling? I don't know. Well, you know, I'm about to get up on out of here. I'm waiting for this PO to call now. I wanted to interrupt the live. You know, that's why I started late today. My apologies, y'all. Usually I go in the morning, but later on, you know, go over there and catch me at round one, man. I'll be over there at round one sports busting it up with my guy Frontline and Upwind. You know what I mean? That's where I was at this morning too. You know, waiting on this PO call, but you know, just go over there and listen to the Shakur and the WBC breakdown because that's one of the best acknowledgments and breakdowns that you're gonna find on YouTube, man. The best acknowledgement and breakdown you're gonna find on YouTube, and it's no biasness. It's real news. You know how it is. It's all facts, no paint sport podcast. You know, we cook for real. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Fauci, I appreciate you, bro. You make beats. Nigga, you know, I rap and I make beats too. You know what I mean? My other channel, Louis 13. You know what I mean? I just sent Dark Low a bunch of motherfucking beats. He felt in love with a couple of them. But yeah, get at me, man. On Instagram and shit. If that's your Instagram, John, I'm gonna get at you. My John is punch up LOUIEONE and the number 3. It's Louis 13. Know what I mean? Yeah, my real name, my shit. Know what I mean? But yeah, if that's you on, I'm gonna go on Instagram and punch your shit up, and I'm gonna send you a join. You know what I mean? I'm follow you on there. You know what I mean? We link up. But Frontline, I appreciate you, Broski Santos. You already know, man. I gotta get a shout out, so you know I always keep the chat. I gotta get professional, like how my guy Frontline be, man. You know. Shout out that we game all night. I appreciate you, Total Toe Boxing. Thanks for showing love. You know me, Louis 13. You hear me? Shout out to Jason Moses, man. Jason always pulling up. Produced by Fauci, Frontline. You know, we all have it was a great day today, man. It was a great day today. Nigga, I had two great interviews today. You know, shout out to my guy, Sports Prediction 101. You already know sports be coming through, you know. And everybody that's on here, everybody that pulled up on the live and everybody that's watched that watched this live later, you know, go subscribe to everybody. You feel me? You know, we're gonna build as a community and build as one. But later on tonight, we'll be over there 7:30, round one. Now I mean sports, go over there, tune in. You know, but tomorrow I'll be back at regular time, like 10 o'clock and shit. But you know what it is. It's all facts, no opinion sport podcast. I'm your host, 1-3. We don't let nothing marinate. We get straight to the sauce. Everything saucy. Mr. Whip It to the oils, aka